Hi there, my name is Finn Wycherley, and I'm the founder of Leaders to Legends, the place to be to work out how to build your business into a six-figure and more business from day one. Now, this whole 30 minutes exercise is only going to be useful if you are an expert business, a consultant, a coach, a professional business, that type of thing. So if you're an IT consultant, a beautician, a graphic designer, social media marketer, a lawyer, all that good stuff, dentist, anyone who relies on their skills and the skills of that kind of professional service in their business, coaches and consultants, then this is the place to be, and I'm going to rock your world. I'm going to break down the new revolutionary way that you can be building and running your business in such a way that is going to guarantee you stand out head and shoulders above all of your competition, and you have a substantial marketing plan that's useful for online as well as offline business from the get-go. I'm going to show you the exact formula that I used to be able to get my business constantly in front of the BBC. I'm an expert speaker. I'm followed by Barack Obama. I have the Bank of England and a whole bunch of celebrities and organizations following me on the various social media channels and on my email newsletter. So you're going to find out how I've kept my business at the forefront of people's minds when it comes to thinking about working with a social media marketer, a marketing expert, etc. Once you learn the formula, you're going to be able to start building your business in such a way that you're able to charge double, even 5 times more than your competition because of the fact that you're so much more visible than everybody else in your particular space. I'm going to help you understand that unless you start building your business with some really strong credentials that sets you apart, not some pathetic little USP that helps you stand out in the newsfeed. No, we don't want marginal differences. We want substantial differences so that not only are you the number one choice for your client, but you're also the number one preference for the algorithms and the keywords, so that therefore you command that niche from the start. After all, in the 21st century, you just cannot afford to launch a business which is just about giving all that service to everybody. So if you're that dentist that's supplying to everybody, if you're that lawyer who's supplying to everybody, the graphic designer, the interior designer, forget it. You're never going to get any traction on social media. You're hardly going to get much traction on your website, and you certainly won't be commanding any algorithms and backlinks and things like that. Because if you're talking to everybody online, you're talking to nobody. And if you want to make your social media work for you, you will understand that the news feed is not the only fruit. You have to start using the ads. And if you're going to target your ads at everybody who likes interior design, you're going to lose a fortune in that process. You cannot afford to be generic. You have to be very, very hyper specific. And the way that we build your business from the beginning makes sure you command a very specific niche. And it doesn't mean that you're not going to be servicing, everybody else that comes and knocks on your door online, virtually, or in person. It doesn't mean that at all. But by commanding that niche, you do get to be the number one choice, even in the world. I'm also going to show you how to make sure that you set up in such a way that you've got 52 weeks of social media content all laid out for you. I know that's going to take a lot of pressure off your daily, what am I going to do today on social media? I understand the pain. We're also going to make sure you understand how to build a 12-month PR campaign, which coincides with lots of events or calendar dates, to make sure that your message is going out to the conferences, the media, the podcasters, and how to nurture those relationships to make sure that when that press release lands, it's going to be warmly received. I'm also going to tell you about how to make sure that your content is based on video and podcasting, because at the end of the day, it's the only thing that works. Instagram, Facebook recently just said, 50% of all the most engaging posts and content hard to do with video. So I'm going to help you understand how to set it up, how to make it really easy and spontaneous, how to make sure you get over the whole cringe element of getting in front of the camera, and we'll take it from there. So hold on to your hat. I'm about to blow your business mind. Now, it wasn't always the case. I started off the business over 10 years ago in the early days of social media, and I worked with a coach to make sure that my offering was incredibly valuable for people who were prepared to invest in working with a social media coach or a social media manager. So it was the early pioneering days, Instagram pages, Facebook pages hadn't even started. So it's been very, very interesting to see the developments over the years. And as with everything, I started off by working with the best in the business, the #1 person for Facebook ads, Mari Smith. Hi, Mari. And she was able to throw a lot of clients my way from America, Australia, Canada, because these were the countries that were prepared to invest in the next best thing. It took a couple of years before the UK population generally wanted to invest in that type of thing, but once they did, they instantly realized that this is the place to be. Social media is where you get all of your traffic. You've either got Google and the PPC ads, or you've got the social media. These are the only two games in town when it comes to getting traffic onto your website. And that's when I became an influencer pretty quick. That's why Barack Obama followed me in the early days and all those other celebrities, and it's just built from there. It was pioneering stuff, like the gold rush, but for digital. I became a lead trainer with Facebook and a Facebook marketing partner, which means that Facebook trusts and accredits us to be able to run campaigns, international campaigns, for businesses, charities, and brands, as well as ambitious entrepreneurs all around the globe. But what I love doing most is training. I love to be able to work with a business to get them up to speed with what they need to understand with the Facebook ads and the content and the Instagram, the Twitter and the LinkedIn and the YouTube and the algorithms and the keywords and the hashtags. That's my jam, basically. I've won lots of awards over the years, marketing awards, small business awards, women in business awards, digital marketing awards, outstanding contribution type of awards, all of those good stuff. And it's been a pleasure to work with such a large range of different types of businesses at different stages of their development, with understanding all of the opportunities that exist online. As you can imagine, I'm a regular feature on newspapers and magazines where they're always asking for my opinion on the latest outrage with social media or the latest opportunities for business in social media. I'm a regular on BBC, TV and radio, and I attend and speak at lots of different conferences, Festival of Female Entrepreneurs, Social Media Entrepreneurs, and small business and startup conferences. I've worked with some of the greatest, like for example, the Commonwealth Games in 2014, as well as some of the banks and the financial institutions, as well as some great entrepreneur startups. But what I love most of all is the fact that we test everything, because whatever marketing strategy might work for this company is not necessarily going to work for that company, because they might be targeting a completely different type of demographic. Even if you're a car company who sells Mercedes, or you're a Fiat company that sells Fiat 100s, your marketing strategy, how you position yourself, is going to be completely different. Here's an example of a company that we worked with recently. We drove thousands of traffic to their website. It was a £2,000 offer. They were offering retreats, yoga retreat, and we were able to drive 32,000 targeted people to the website who we knew who were interested in yoga and retreats and this particular country. And then from that amount of traffic checking out the website and then sending them there on a regular basis over the month, we managed to secure £186,000 of business. So it was a good month at the office. What I learned from all of this is that social media is absolutely bloody marvelous, excuse my French, but it only takes you so far. As a specialist online marketer, my job and the job of my team is to drive thousands and thousands of targeted people to your website and collect emails and get them to purchase or make inquiries. That's our job. But the problem is, if they don't see exactly what they're looking for when they arrive on your website, they're gonna go away, they're gonna bounce off very quickly without a second's hesitation. So it's actually your job, or the job of the business development and the marketing positioning, to make sure that when people do go to the website, they're gonna hang around, they're gonna check out a lot of stuff, they're maybe gonna come back on a regular basis to see what else you've got going on, and you're able to make a massive impression from the start. But the reality for 99.9% of professional services and expert businesses is that they have another Me Too website with a little USP that makes them sound or look a little bit different. And they've got, maybe a different color scheme for their branding and a cute little font combination, for example. But essentially, it's just another firm like all of the others. They haven't set up with an outstanding positioning which allows the person that looks on the website to go, oh, wow, I'd love to be able to work with these guys, but they might be too expensive for me. No matter what band that you're operating in. You could be 2-star, 3-star, 4-star, 5-star in your sector, but you want to give them the impression that you are so desirable that they would love to be able to work with you from the start. But the reality is most businesses don't do it like that. They just set up with a website, they have a half-arsed attempt at social media, they've maybe got their intern updating or some random person off of Fiverr to actually do their social media for you, or your brother's uncle's cousin's daughter-in-law. That's not how you're going to build your business, by having such a random strategy which is based on nonsense. But the main problem is that the client expects that just by posting up stuff in the newsfeed, that's going to bring them business. Well, I've got news for you. It's 2021, coming up for 2022. The newsfeed is pretty much dead, and you will never be able to build a business just by putting content on your newsfeed in social media. In fact, let me ask you a question. When was the last time that Nike actually put some content into the news? So in the Facebook newsfeed, the last time they put up content was 2018, January 2018. They spent over $3 billion per year on marketing, but not 1 cent goes into putting content into the newsfeed on Facebook. Why? Because if your whole campaign is based on putting up content into the newsfeed, that's the equivalent of writing a cute letter to Santa Claus and then shoving it up the chimney and hoping for the best. That is essentially what your marketing strategy is. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but this is literal reality in these days, especially post-COVID, where you have thousands and thousands more competitors operating in your particular space that are trying to get business from all over the world. Nowadays, you're competing with people in Australia, in Kuala Lumpur, in Indonesia. You can't afford to sit there and be another Me Too organization or a Me Too brand. And another major problem is that so many business owners are super skeptical about social media. They've listened to the traditional media, the radio, the TV, the newspapers, the magazines, and they've all said, social media is terrible, it's run by Satan, it's abusive to children, etc., etc. But the reality is 90% of the traditional advertising money is going from traditional media, and it's all piling in to digital media because of the return on investment. And the reality is, traditional media hates social media. So it's in their interests to tell you how bad it all is, how bad it is for your mental health, how useless it is, you're going to spend a fortune, and you're going to get loads of abuse, and all that stuff. So from the get-go, most business owners are super skeptical when it comes to using social media. And they might try and hunker down in LinkedIn and Twitter, hoping that those spaces might be a little less abrasive and might give them some decent traffic. Reality is, oops, it's just a no-no. Where the smart business is and where most of the big brands are putting all their money is in the social media and the social media ads. But you don't want to do that with a small budget or a large budget without a good marketing strategy, brand positioning, and where people get who you are and what you're about the moment they see your content popping up. So most of the businesses, even whether they like Facebook or they hate Mark Zuckerberg or Instagram or whatever, they know that if they put their money there, that's where they're going to get the returns. So here's another thing. One of the other mistakes that people make when it comes to setting up their business online is that they have an unnatural expectation, an unrealistic expectation of what they're going to get in return. Let's put it this way. Month one, you start, you're all excited, you decided to get it going, you commission a website or you try to DIY it. 6 months later, everything's been built, your social media platform's been set up, your email marketing is all in place, you're ready to go. So now you're like, okay, what am I going to write about? What am I going to create? How on earth are you going to build a business when you don't have that marketing strategy in place? It's just not going to work. How are you going to build that business when you're guessing what your marketing strategy is going to be? Doomed from the start. 3 months after launch, you've exhausted all of your contacts, your connections, you're now starting to network a bit more anxiously, you're now signing up for all the free courses so you can understand better how to use social media, you're reading all the blogs, and then you're still optimistic, but it's beginning to look a little bit dry around your office space. 6 months later, things are getting a bit tense. You've got a couple of good clients, but in order to onboard them, you had to make some major reductions in your costing and your fees, and literally you're hanging on by your fingernails and they're not even covering your bills. You're down, but you're not out. And that is literally the reason why the vast majority of businesses, even pre-online opportunities, even pre-social media, even pre-corona, the vast majority of businesses failed within the first year. And I'm even going to say that the stats when they come out are going to be even higher, because people have a very unrealistic perspective on what social media is, and they have zero plan on what to actually implement. They don't know what a marketing strategy looks like. They don't know what a digital marketing strategy looks like. They don't know what a PR marketing strategy looks like. How are you going to win business when you don't know what you're doing? How are you going to win business when you're relying on all the free content online? The reality is there's only 3 ways to build a business online. 1, you DIY it and you've got big pockets so you can afford to make lots and lots of mistakes as you work it out over the next couple of years. 2, you work with a social media coach or a marketing coach where you regularly pitch up together and work out the strategy for the months to come, and then you go off and actually implement it. Number 3, you hand all of your marketing to an agency or a bunch of freelancers, but you give them the plan, you know how to measure the results, and you know how to fire and who to fire when you're not getting the results that are reasonable. My job is to help you put that plan together so you're not that interior designer that does everything. You're now becoming the interior designer, the #1 in the world for garden sheds, for example, garden shed renovations. You're not going to be the lawyer, for example, that does everything, conveyancing, criminal, family, whatever. No, you're going to be the #1 for immigration into your country. And you're going to spend all your time talking about it, blogging about it, being a commentator in conferences and with the news and everything. So you're going to dominate, you're going to have a center of excellence that your competition cannot beat, because you're on all the podcasts, you're commenting on BBC, you're always there on the magazines, and you are the #1 person for all things to do with immigration. You can do the job, obviously, but are you overwhelmingly the first choice for your clients? And that's what we help you to do. Obviously, we can help you with all your social media strategies, but it's the positioning and the building and the plan and the strategy at the beginning that makes all the difference. The actual implementation of it, it's fine as long as you've got the plan. According to Professor Scott Galloway of New York University, The successful businesses of the future are ones that have an iconic leader at the center. Just think of like Elon Musk or Richard Branson. They have a whole cornucopia of businesses around them, but it's their own personal brands that are driving those businesses, as well as the leverage of those particular businesses themselves. So therefore, when we're working together, we're going to be not just marketing your business, but we're also going to be marketing the founder, the leader, the business owner as the iconic leader, so that therefore we've got 2 bites or even 3 bites of the cherry. We've got the iconic leader, we've got the business, and then we've got the products or services that we're putting out there. So our job is to make you and your business legendary and iconic. That's why it's called Leaders to Legends. So let me ask you a couple of questions about your business. What would it mean to your business if you were constantly being asked to speak as an expert speaker by TV, radio, journalists because they need a commentator about your particular issues, or if there's a story happening and they need an expert to comment on it? Who are they going to call in your space? Next question. What would it mean to your business if you were a regular speaker on conferences and events and podcasts and even TED Talks, so that you become the #1 expert in your space? What would that do to your business? Your business would erupt. That's what would happen. Of course it would. And if we're building that plan from the get-go, and you've got your PR strategy for the whole 12 months, you've got your social media strategy, your videos, your podcasts all going out, and you've planned everything for 52 weeks of the entire year, your confidence, never mind your clients, will be soaring. And because of the fact that you have become #1 for your clients, because of that massive profile that you've been able to gain, you also are the #1 in the algorithms. So when people are searching for your business or your type of business, you'll be coming up on page 1 of a search very easily. So, are you ready to hear more about working together? So the Leaders to Legend program is 12 weeks. It's online video training, so there's a lot of training that you can go through at your own pace, and you've got loads of worksheets to go through and answer, because you have to really spend a lot of time brainstorming who you really are, what makes you stand out, which particular client base you really want to go after, and how you are going to be able to do that. So there's a lot of work that happens on the kind of video training and the worksheets that you can do by yourself, or you and a bunch of people, your team, or all your stakeholders, your well-wishers. You can all work together and actually get the answers that are right for making you that #1 standout, legendary, iconic business. Plus, you get to work with me twice a week. Yes, for 90 minutes, twice a week. So that means not only do you have your team, the videos, we're also going to be working together to make sure that you are nailing your niche and you're understanding how to get all of the elements together, and that you've got a plan that you can outsource to all the different freelancers easily. So we're going to walk you through step by step the whole process of building that business. If you want to relaunch or launch your business, it's going to happen with a massive bang, as opposed to a little whimper like most businesses. We do lots of intensive benchmarking and auditing. We'll show you all the spy tools that we use, so you know exactly how much traffic your competitors are getting, where it's all coming from, and all that good stuff. We also focus quite heavily on time management, because I've realized after working with so many businesses that time management tends to be quite an issue for certain types of people. So there will be a strong element on helping you make sure that all of the work gets done, because the last thing we want is we finish up our relationship after 12 weeks working intensively together twice a week in the coaching sessions, as well as all the other time that you're spending on developing your ideas, and at the end of the 12 weeks you've hardly got much of a sketch of what you're supposed to be doing. No, we want to make sure that you understand how to use time to make it work effectively for you. So we're going to work with you on that. We're also going to make sure you understand how to use the press releases, how to nurture those journalists and influencers, so that when that press release absolutely lands, you're going to have a warm reception. So you'll have a 12-month press release strategy before you're ready to launch. We're going to make sure that you understand how to make videos and podcasts work for you effectively, because at the end of the day, algorithms love videos and your clients love videos. So that's the only way to move forward. That's exactly what we're going to do to make sure your strategy for the next 52 weeks is going to be video based. And the very last thing that we do together is we make sure you have your bestseller book, because it's easy to get those press releases out there when you're not just that interior designer or lawyer or whatever. You're the one with the book on that specialist niche area, and then that makes everything so easy. So we're going to help you understand how to put that book together, how to get it published really easily, and then also how to work with freelancers so that everything that you've put together in terms of the bullet points, the chapter headings, and all the basic narratives of the book are put together in such a way that it's easy for the freelancers to take over and actually get that book done for you. All right? So if you want to carry on talking about this, just book up a time to speak, and then let's get talking.